Hello everyone, thank you for being here for my presentation. I am Sanjeev Dahal. I am a postdoc in Yang Lab at Queen's University. Today I'll be presenting my work, which is titled Genome Scale Modeling of Pseudomonas aeruginosa. PA14 unveils its broad metabolic capabilities and role of metabolism in virulence and drug potentiation. This work is also available on bioRxiv. Pseudomonas aeruginosa PA14 is a hypervirulent strain of Pseudomonas aeruginosa, which is an opportunistic pathogen. Pseudomonas aeruginosa is one of the leading causes of hospital-acquired infections in the world, and once the infection is established in the host environment, it is difficult to eradicate. One of the reasons is because of the presence of multiple antibiotic resistance mechanisms, some of which are listed here. For instance, the pathogen can overexpress efflux pumps to pump the drug out of the cell. For system study of organisms, we use genome scale models in our lab. For PA14, a genome scale reconstruction already existed, and the study associated with this reconstruction was published in 2017 by Bartel et al. The model will be referred to as MPA14. We decided to develop and update our own genome scale reconstruction because of a few considerations. First of all, we wanted to use human interpretable big identifiers for reactions and metabolites. Secondly, MPA14 is a 2-compartment model, whereas for our research purpose we required a 3-compartment model. Thirdly, there are several missing knowledge gaps in MPA14 which have been filled in the current model. And finally, MPA14 is a mass and charge imbalanced model, and that issue has also been resolved. The current model is called IST1507. When the reconstruction of IST model and MPA14 model were compared, the contents of IST model were found to be considerably higher than the MPA14 model. We also compared the top KEGG pathways of the IST model and MPA14, and we found that the number of genes in almost all KEGG pathways were higher in the IST model than in the MPA14 model. We also performed MUMOT evaluation of the IST model, and currently the score for this model is 88%. For MUMOT evaluation and to improve the model in general, Dr. Renz from Draeger Research Group provided significant contribution. IST model contains 424 more unique genes than MPA14 model. One of the reasons is the presence of organism specific reactions which are added after extensive literature curation, and some of these reactions are shown here. These are related to respiration, alkane oxidation, substrate metabolism, etc. For the purpose of this presentation, I would like to focus on phenazine dependent metabolism that has been reconstructed in the model. Phenazines are extensively studied virulence factors in Pseudomonas aeruginosa. These metabolites can act like cofactors in redox metabolism, such that the phenazines can be reduced via different mechanisms within the cell, as shown here, and then the reduced phenazines can be transported out of the cell to the extracellular, where they react with oxygen to get reoxidized, and then the oxidized phenazines from extracellular can be transported back into the cell for another redox cycle. The pathways such as these have not been added to reconstructions of Pseudomonas to the best of our knowledge, and such unique and important reactions are the highlight of the IST model. We assessed the predictive capability of the IST model by comparing the experimental data with the model predictions. For the gene essentiality, the data published in 2019 in a transposon insertion sequencing study was utilized. In this study, core essential genes were identified as essential genes in 5 media conditions in 9 different strains of Pseudomonas aeruginosa. For gene deletion simulation, we in silico knocked out individual genes in the IST model and optimized for biomass production in 3 different media conditions. The LBO-rich media, synthetic cystic fibrosis media, glucose minimum media. As can be seen here in the table, the model was able to predict gene essentiality with an accuracy greater than 90% for all of these media conditions. Next, we use the model to predict substrate utilization. For this, data published in 2019 was utilized, and overall 123 substrates were assessed in this study. And as we can see here, the model was able to predict substrate utilization with an overall accuracy of 93.5% with only 8 false predictions. Then the model was used to study phenazine production in Pseudomonas aeruginosa. For this, LIME-FP approach was used, which accounts for growth-associated dilution of cofactors by forcing active metabolites to dilute slightly, as can be seen here by the green arrows. The advantage of LIME-FP is that for a metabolite to be used, such as piocyanin, it has to be produced, which is not the case in normal FPA. For the simulation of oxygen availability to the cell, we constrain the flux of oxygen import from extracellular to the periplasm. Then, using the LIME-FPA, we studied the effect of piocyanin production and oxygen availability on the biomass production. As can be seen here in the map, at low oxygen condition environment, such as down here, where the oxygen import flux is low, the effect of piocyanin production on biomass production is considerably high when compared to that at higher oxygen import flux, where the effect of piocyanin biosynthesis on biomass production considerably diminishes. This suggests that the piocyanin biosynthesis is crucial to the Pseudomonas survival and growth in oxygen limited condition, which are encountered within biofilms. We next use the model to study gluconate production in Pseudomonas aeruginosa. A 2013 study demonstrated that gluconate can be a potential, although not a strong, biomarker of drug resistance. The clinical isolates of Pseudomonas aeruginosa tend to be RPON deficient. RPON is a sigma factor, and it has been demonstrated that RPON mutant overproduces gluconate compared to the wild type. And one of the indirect targets of RPON is EDD gene, which encodes for 6-phosphogluconate dehydratase, and it has been demonstrated that EDD mutant also overproduces gluconate to the levels comparable to the RPON mutant. We therefore use the IST model to study the gluconate production phenotype of the EDD mutant and compare it to the wild type. For this, flux variability analysis was performed. As we can see here in the graph within this diagram, the points represent the maximum and minimum fluxes of the reactions, whereas the dotted lines refer to the flux range. The numbers right after the reaction names were derived by dividing the average flux of the mutant by that of the wild type. From this diagram, we can see that the gluconate secretion in the mutant is considerably higher than that in the wild type. Furthermore, in the mutant, the glucose flux is divided into gluconate production and glucose import into the cytosol. And finally, we also see that the flux range of gluconate production reaction is narrower in the mutant than in the wild type. Overall, these results suggest that for the mutant to grow optimally, it has to divert some of the glucose flux towards gluconate secretion, and that too at the expense of biomass production. and we have seen in our simulations that biomass production is affected considerably in the mutant compared to the wild type, but I have not shown it here. We finally used the model to study drug potentiation and drug protection by fumarate and glyoxylate respectively. In a 2017 study, it was demonstrated that in a fumarate supplemented media, the drug uptake and drug activity is higher because of higher proton motive force and increased oxygen uptake rate due to higher TCA cycle activity. In glyoxylate media, however, it was demonstrated that the flux from acetyl-CoA is diverted towards glyoxylate, which causes lower TCA cycle activity and respiration rate, leading to lower drug activity. We performed flux sampling analysis using the IST model to recapitulate the findings of the study. Using the flux sampling, we can visualize all the possible flux states for a given reaction and compare them statistically for different conditions. And as you can see here, using our analysis, we have recapitulated the major findings of the Malin study, such that the TCA cycle activity is predicted to be higher in fumarate supplemented media. Likewise, oxygen uptake rate and proton motive force are also higher in fumarate media. In glyoxylate media, it has shown that the flux from acetyl-CoA is diverted towards malate by the action of malate synthase. Therefore, we have shown that using constraint based modeling approach, we can study the effects of metabolite supplementation on drug uptake and drug activity. And that concludes the result portion of my presentation. I would firstly like to thank Dr. Lawrence Yang, who's my advisor, who has been tremendously helpful, considerate and patient throughout this project. I would also like to thank Dr. Renz and Dr. Draeger for their help in improving the model. I would also like to thank the contributors from Papin Lab and Dietrich Lab who helped in the development of the model. And here are some of the important references. And now I am happy to take any questions.